What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon in the building with the new Lumia 950, the long-awaited Lumia 950. And I think for the very first time, officially, this is not a Nokia Lumia. This is just a Microsoft Lumia. How about that? So yeah, it's been about 2 years since we've had the opportunity to get something new and flashy in the Windows Phone world. And it's very well received. I mean, I've been hitting a couple of my favorite Windows Phone blogs and outlets, and everyone's generally happy about this guy. And you guys know I parted my ways recently. I went to Android, a Galaxy S Edge 6, or whatever the hell the name of that thing is, and that's what I've been holding down lately. But this is definitely the test for Windows Phone. Is can it bring me back in? Can it remind me of why I loved it so? The first thing you'll notice, of course, is the design when you take it out of the box. And I would be lying to you if I told you I was not underwhelmed with this thing. Now, to be fair, when I went to the Microsoft store, I played with both the 950 and the XL. And I really adored the XL. I think the camera housing on the back was a little more attractive to me, a little more tasteful. But it just had a better feel to me, and it was strange because they sort of look the same. But you know, it's the 950. It's fine. It's not an unattractive phone. I think the problem here is when you've been using something like the Galaxy S6 Edge for such a long time. It's such a beautiful piece of hardware, and you come back to something like this very mute design that Microsoft put together here with the Lumia. It's underwhelming. It's not a great experience, but it is a cool looking phone. I don't think it's ugly by any means, and it serves a purpose. It just has a very utilitarian look to it. On the right side, you'll see the volume up, the volume down rocker. You'll have the power button nicely placed in the middle. And then you have this camera, this dedicated camera button, which is something that, man, I've been missing on the Galaxy. And yes, even though a lot of these other phones, including the iPhone and most Android phones, there's a shortcut on the home screen that you can launch the camera, or even there's, you can double tap the home button to launch the camera app. Nothing beats this dedicated camera button for two reasons. One is, with the Windows Phone, they give you the ability to just hold that camera button even when the phone is off or in suspend mode, and it just starts recording video. Like, you can't get any more dope than that. And then the second reason is it's a lot better to stabilize the phone when holding it, to take pictures, to use that camera button, and for me anyway, my personal choice, than to tap a button on the screen, which then starts with the camera shake, so on and so forth. So I definitely do adore the camera button, and I like the buttons. Got like this mirror reflective look to them. They're fine. On the top, you see the auxiliary jack for your headphones. On the left side, there's nothing, and on the bottom's that brand new USB Type-C port, which is the new hotness in the gadget world. The new MacBook uses it. The new Nexus phones use it, and it enables the fast charging because of that USB-C, and it also allows you to use a lot of different peripherals now. So even if you don't have USB Type-C peripherals as yet, you can get an adapter and plug the USB stuff right in there, and that's also dope. Now, here's something that isn't seen a lot today. You can take the back of this guy completely off, and Microsoft is also saying that here on the back, you see, when I remove it, you see the prongs for the wireless charging, which is built in. Microsoft is also saying that the 950 XL will have removable, you can replace the backs and get something more stylish. I've seen a few out there that are pretty dope. haven't seen it for the 950, and I think that's weird. Like, come on, guys, let's get something going for the 950. In fact, if I could get something like a leather back or maybe a carbon fiber back, the device wouldn't be so boring to me. But, you know, whatever. So taking off the back reveals you've got that huge 3,000 milliamp battery. And you see, of course, there's the expandable storage. Goes up to, I think Microsoft said theoretically 2 terabytes when the storage catches up. And there under that's the port for, or the port for the your nano SIM. So yeah, that's definitely something that we haven't been seeing in a lot of these new devices, because they've been very design forward. So, you know, hey, I was complaining about the design, but you get the features. You get really that tool set to replace your battery and increase your storage. So yeah, why not? In terms of specs, I think Microsoft pretty much checked all the boxes with this guy. It's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 processor, so that's a hexa-core guy clocked at 1.8 gigahertz. It's got 3 gigs of RAM, which is more than enough. I mean, if you look back on the Lumia 1520, that guy had 2 gigs of RAM, and even to this day, it's still running fine. You know, I did some slight comparisons between a 1520 and a 950, and the 950 is noticeably snappier. But the RAM won't help with that. I think that's a lot more processor. But my point here with this RAM spec is you really don't need 3. I think the Android phones are where you would need that 3 and 4, because a lot of stuff, because of the way Android just runs, the nature of the OS, a lot of stuff's constantly running. So you need more RAM to keep that stuff at the ready. But yeah, it's good to see it. So 3 gigs of RAM, good for them. 32 gigabytes expandable memory, which you just spoke about. That's always a plus. The USB Type-C, again, that's a plus with the fast charging and what you gain from the accessories. And then there's the 3,000 milliamp battery, again, removable. So dope. If you were to stack up, and this is a big conversation that I like to have with a lot of people, what makes a flagship phone a flagship phone? You talk about these features. You know, of course, you talk about your high-end processors. You talk about a crap load of RAM. But one of the things that's noticeably missing, and I think should continue to be the standard when defining a flagship device or a high-end device, is removable memory and removable battery and expandable memory. And this is what makes I think LG stand out from the crowd, because they're still committed to this, you know. And I get that conversation of design versus utility, but LG's been doing a good job. You know, it's not impossible. It can be done. So good on Microsoft for checking a lot of these boxes here and coming out the gate with everything that we think a standard should be. I really enjoy that, and I think it's definitely, it shows that they're not oblivious to what's going on. Let's talk about features. What makes this device so special or not special, depending on what side of the fence you're on. First, I really like the iris scanner. Now, this is something new. The concept may not be new. I mean, using your eyes, your face to unlock your device. But this is definitely a more in-depth version of that concept. It's not a face scanner like we've seen on Android phones in the past. Instead, it's a real iris scanner. This thing is scanning for your eyes. And I think it's kind of cool to set up when you first do it. And it also goes hand in hand with Microsoft's new Windows Hello feature, which is pretty much a way of unlocking your device, your laptop, your tablet, or your PC without actually typing in the password. So you can get Windows Hello on something like your desktop. You just need some very specific camera hardware at this point. Or you can also use like USB fingerprint scan and stuff. That also goes under the Windows Hello family. But here on the phone, we've got the iris scanner, and you know, this is pretty amazing how it works. Now, in real life, it is not faster than a fingerprint scanner. And the reasons for that is a fingerprint scanner, let's say you pull your phone out of your pocket, you can, before you get that phone at the ready, before you get it at that reading position, you can have your finger right on that hardware button that you know is the scanner and have it unlocked. Here, you need to actually take the phone out, you need to turn it on, and you need to pretty much have it about a foot or so away from your face to unlock. Now, in terms of speed, I think it's as fast as a fingerprint scanner in terms of registering what it needs to register and then unlock the phone, but it is not as fast in practice, like I just explained. But it's kind of dope, and I think it did work in low light situations, which I was very surprised at. This guy works, man. I mean, the accuracy definitely measures up to what we see on the fingerprint scanner. So, and when I say accuracy, I want to be clear, right? Because we've got some fingerprint scanners in the past that weren't accurate, even though your finger was in the right place. When I'm speaking about accuracy with the iris scanner, is if you're holding it at the correct angle, at the correct distance, it works every single time. You'll notice when it doesn't work, it'll say things like move it closer, or it may be at an angle it can't detect. So if you hit that sweet spot that you're supposed to be in, this thing is super accurate. I think it's dope. I like it. Then there's Windows Continuum. Now this is the dream Microsoft's been selling people, and I think it is very impressive technology. I think it's super dope, and I think it's part of that. It's a byproduct of that one Windows, where the code for Windows now runs on a PC, a tablet, a laptop, and now your phone. I think it's super dope, but the problem is it's still a dream that Microsoft is selling people, and it's not quite ready. I didn't buy the dock because I'm still not sure, and I'll explain that at the end of the review. I'm still not sure about jumping back into the Windows world, or Windows Phone world, I should say. But I didn't buy the dock, but I played with it a lot at the Microsoft store. They really allowed me some freedom to do a lot of tests, and it works. I mean, this thing really and truly works, and it is so dope to see. And then I see a bunch of a lot of the Microsoft guys who already got it, because if you buy this guy, you actually get the dock for free. So it's definitely worth it to go ahead and get that dock. And the dock has it's USB Type-C dock, and you plug the phone into it. You can plug you can plug the keyboard, the mouse. You can even plug some flash memory in there. So very dope stuff. And what I like most is the execution here. You can essentially project the functions of your phone onto another screen, and it entirely becomes a Windows 10 experience, right? So you've got the start menu to the left, you've got the Cortana Ask Me Anything, and then you have the different applications you can pin to your taskbar, and you can multitask. You can run different instances of Word, you can run different instances of IE. These things are dope. And what I like the most about it is you can still do stuff on the phone while using a Continuum. That's super dope. Now, I did notice it started to chug a lot. Let's say I pulled up YouTube in the browser and I upped the resolution to 1080p. I did notice some stuttering, but other than that, it seemed pretty cool. And I noticed IE as one of those core apps that supported Continuum. I pulled up a few instances of IE while in Continuum mode on the TV, but then I launched IE on the phone, and it sort of closed the session that was on a Continuum, and it continued it in on the phone. So that's okay. I get where that's coming from, and that's cool. But it's still very much so a dream, and here's why I say that. When you tell someone they can run a real PC from their phone by just projecting it on a screen, people want to install real PC apps, right? And this is outside of the universal application conversation, although it's still quite relatable to it. The problem here is, oh great, sweet, so I can launch Photoshop? No, you can't. And there are rumors about Microsoft allowing Win32 applications to run, and they're just rumors. Can they do it? I'm sure they can, and it'll get fairly complex. But right now, that's nowhere in sight. So I think it's slightly misleading to tell people that they can run this PC, because people want to do PC type things when you tell them they can do it from their phone. But looking at what I do on a daily basis, Continuum is it works for me, right? Like, my core apps are things like Wunderlist, OneDrive, the entire Office suite, my Outlook, and a browser. That's how I do most of my work, right? If I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of content creation, I'm at home on my rig. And this is not to replace my rig. This is to give me added functionality when I'm on the road. So I think Continuum is kind of dope. I think it is about 70% of the way in terms of meeting up to the promise, but it's still a ways to go. And I want to make sure everyone out there understands that expectation. Now we come down to my favorite part of the device, is the camera. Lumias have been leading the camera market for some time, but in their 2-year hiatus fell very far behind. In fact, I think the new king of the show is arguably the LG, the V10, with the Samsung in a very, very close second. Apple stepped their game up, but I'm still not a fan of the Apple stuff. Even though it's really good, but to me, these pro consumer camera options on the phones need to include things like the ability to shoot RAW, and that's something that Nokia really pioneered, and that Samsung took after, and LG is taking up the flag. So in sorts, this is sort of a return of the king. But has anything changed? Can they still be the king? It's kind of hard to answer that question. I'm gonna have to do a comparison video, especially with our new series called Aperture. That's what it's for, a lot of that camera stuff. But what I will say is, shooting the camera on the S6 Edge almost on a daily basis, because I use it to frame a lot of my shots in my photography, and then coming back or using the 950's camera, Nokia is definitely in the ballpark. Now, I'm going to do a separate video with just photography on the 950, and then I'm going to have to do one comparing it to the Galaxy and also the V10 if I can get my hands on one. But I will say that the camera is amazing. It's a 20 megapixel shooter. It's got an aperture of 1.9, which is wide open, and that's good because that's what makes the nighttime photography come to life, right? It lets a lot of light in. It's still got that optical image stabilization, which is pretty good. And one of the things that really sets the Lumia apart, even to this day, from everyone else on the market, is the oversampling stuff that they do. They used to call it lossless zoom. Now they're just saying it's oversampling, because that is pretty much the technical term for it. So the idea here is that 20 megapixel camera captures a wild amount of detail and information, and then it sort of downsamples it and crunches it into a shot that is really a lot more pleasing to look at. And that works fine. And I mean, you can even take the raw shot and come in and crop in and get a really decent picture. Not a lot of the other guys have figured that out as yet, so they're still leading in terms of that. It's got a triple LED flash, which does a pretty good job at nighttime. And you guys are seeing some of the sample images here. But again, I'm going to get you a really comprehensive video in the future. Rich capture is much improved here. So rich capture, what it does is it intelligently surveys the scene of what you're shooting and decides, okay, you may want some different options to edit after the fact. So in terms of HDR, you can apply a slider of how much HDR to apply, or if you take a picture with the flash, you can have a slider to apply how much flash to the intensity to let in. And this is dope because, again, that camera, when you first snap that image, is taking so much information about the scene that it allows you to then go back and really pick what you want to do. There's 4K video. That's neither here nor there. One of the things I did notice was the 4K video on the 1520 I thought was super useful, because you can take the camera out, hold the camera button, and just record 4K video. But then you could then go into that video and sort of extract an 8 megapixel image that would in theory be very sharp. And in my test, it was fairly sharp. Now, I have not seen that here, and this leads me to one of the complaints with the that I'll get into at the end of the camera section of software just seemingly missing. But there's also 1080p 60 frames a second, which is something that we've been missing in the 1520. It's now here, and that front-facing camera is a nice 5 megapixel front-facing camera, so your selfies will be fine. Where does this device measure up short? Like I alluded to, I think there's things just missing. Like the glance, I don't have the ability to double tap to wake up anymore, which is something like, guys, this was your stuff. Why is it not here? Things like a lot of those Lumia camera apps, little things that a lot of the dope stuff they did, the refocus and stuff, none of that's here. Like, where is it? I shouldn't have to hunt that stuff down on the marketplace. I even hunted down. I don't know if it's there. I don't know if it'll work. And quite frankly, I don't care to go to look for it. Like, it should have been on the phone as part of the suite. There's a lot about the experience. This is one of the things that's utterly unacceptable, and it's sort of shameful that Microsoft did this. So these phones launched with pretty much a beta version of Windows Phone 10, and there was a lot of conversation going around as to if Windows Mobile or Windows 10 Mobile was ready. And the answer is no, it's not ready. They are selling this new hardware with beta shit on it, and it's so annoying. Apps are still crashing. The marketplace still isn't stable enough. Some apps do or do not update. It's just like, guys, this is so tacky. This is so tasteless. And I get it. You know, it's a tough situation because they've been gone for 2 years, and the Windows devout are pretty much screaming right now. Where's the new hardware? You know, I don't think they should have launched these things the way they did. Do some sort of hardware insider program where the guys who want it can purchase these new devices, but these things should not be on the shelves right now. When you go to Best Buy, when you go to the Microsoft store, you should not be seeing these because they're not ready for consumer consumption yet, and the App Store still isn't ready. You know, coming back from Android and really learning the awe that is so many apps, and just having them there when I need them, and then coming back home, because I still do consider Windows my home. It's just like, god damn it, there's so much missing, and it's so annoying because the best part of Windows Phone is the operating system itself, which continue to be the tiles, the stability, the speed, the responsiveness. All of that stuff is still here, but just a lot more buggy right now. It's like, this isn't ready. Would I recommend this phone to someone? Absolutely not. This phone is not ready. I think Microsoft definitely checked all the boxes in terms of what makes a smartphone, but the software is not ready. Would I recommend it to a Windows Phone fanboy? Absolutely. Am I going to keep this phone? No, I am not. And I consider myself a fanboy, but I'm not an ignorant fanboy. This phone does nothing to improve my life right now. You know, the camera, as beast as it is, and I'm going to put it to the test, it doesn't do anything for me because these days I haven't been doing a lot of mobile photography. I've been shooting with my Sony. So it doesn't even benefit me that way, and I feel like this device, the 950, is just a love letter to the concept that I had 2 years ago. You know, this phone is a year and a half late. It's a year late. It's nothing to be excited about. I think Microsoft definitely needs to step it up. But I did something interesting the other day. You know, right before putting my notes together for the review, I went back and I watched Satya's explanation of the Windows Phone hardware, and I think he was on point. He really downplayed it, and most people were sort of like, whoa, is he gonna say anything else? Like, what's coming? And I sort of see 100% why he was so calm about it. It's sort of like, it's not our main thing. This is not our big money maker, but we're still gonna support it. We're still gonna have it around for the fans. Now I see where a lot of that's coming from, and I think that's exactly what the Lumia 950 is. It's for the fans. I don't know how much more of this the fans can take because there's so much going on, and we can get into that. Leave a question or leave your comment in the comment section below, and I can definitely dive deeper into that conversation about Windows Phone and what's wrong and what's right. But in regards to this 950, I think it's a dope device. Not a fan of the design. I love the camera. I love the hardware. I love the iris scanner. Windows Hello. Continuum is dope. Wireless charging is dope. USB Type-C is dope. But it's still not enough. It's still not ready. And after 5 years, when will it be ready? It's your boy Ramon. Leave the comments below. Like the video if you like it. If you didn't like it, hit the section. I want to know. I know you guys are going to roast me. And always subscribe for more videos like this. I'm out of here. Peace.